I'm enjoying this. Yes, you can see that I'm blowing bubbles. Why am I doing this? Welcome to another beautiful episode of Sped Every Day with your girl, Bola Tito Fatoki. I am so excited as usual to be here today. And not just that, you know what? I've been looking so forward to blowing these bubbles. Yes, I get to blow these bubbles in the house. Okay, again, I'm so happy to be here with you today as usual. Why am I blowing bubbles today? Oh, maybe we're going to learn something new. Today, we're going to be talking about math skills, mathematics. Math skills. How do we teach math skills to our individuals with exceptionalities? How do we generalize this instruction? You know what? I told you already that there are some skills necessary for daily living. And just imagine knowing how to count money, telling the time, measurements, all those are skills that we use daily. How do we teach this to our individuals with exceptionalities? Those are math skills. So today I'm going to be generalizing all these daily living skills under mathematics. And I'm going to be giving tips on how we can teach our children with special needs, our children with exceptionalities, our children with learning disabilities, on how to use these skills and how to be able to walk around this and they can, reach their highest potential. When you're teaching a child with exceptionality, one thing you always want to have at the back of your mind is, how can I teach this to be used in the real world? How can I generalize this instruction? How can this child, or how would I be able to teach this child to use this with real life scenarios? So think about teaching math. Oh my God, that is a skill we use every day. Whether we are trying to eat, how many slices of bread do you want? When we are playing, what number do you want to choose? So many times, every time, all around, the clock, we're using math. Whether it's counting money, whether it's the time, whether it's measuring, put 2 cups of water. Give me the jug of water. We use math every day. So it's a conscious skill that we need to teach our individuals with exceptionalities. We walk around time. We have morning, afternoon, night, evening. We have the AM and PM. How do we let them differentiate all this? How do we let them know that what I'm teaching is happening in real life? How do we let them understand that the concept of the money they have here, like this money is used to buy necessities. Now imagine this era where we use our debit card, our credit card, that even as parents, we don't carry cash that much. How do we consciously let our kids know, yes, that we have something called cash and it's used to purchase, to make purchases, to donate, and all those things. That's why I'm here today. And I'm so excited I'm teaching this today because I know it's going to touch, if not one person, many more. So where do we start from? Let's start from the basics. What are the math operations? We want to think first, what is that part of math that extend, or what are those parts of math? Am I saying it right? Yes. Okay, it's math, right? Not English, so it's okay. Whatever way I say. Okay. So what's the aspect of math that if your child understands these concepts, they'll be able to carry it on and it can help you to teach other skills or other topics in math. We want to talk about the basic operations. We want to talk about the additions, subtractions, multiplications, and division. Yeah, because if you know how to add, you know how to subtract, divide, and multiply, then I can tell you Every other thing is easy peasy. How do we teach the basic math operations to our children? Yes, let me try this again. First tip number 1. Use things around the house. Make it fun. Make it so fun. What does your child have around the house? What are we teaching? Are we teaching numbers? Look at the bubble I just blew now. Think about that. You can blow a bubble. Your child can blow a bubble. And can you count how many bubbles? What do you think is going on there? You're teaching your child how to count. Okay, mommy's going to blow 1, 2, 3. And you know, when most times when I see people teach math concepts, trying to use non-tangible things that are not tangible, that the kid may not even see anywhere. Some manipulatives that they may not see anywhere, they may not be able to relate with in the real world. I'm always like, oh, why are you taking them back? Why are you reducing, the level of learning, the level of to continue learning? Because the end goal is to be able to use this skill that we're teaching in the real world scenario. So we can use things that they use every day. Let us use skills, the things that they recognize. Do they see money? They recognize money. Use money. Do they recognize cereal? Yes. You can use your cereal to count. Do they know what bubble is? Yes. So we want to pick things around us to add and to subtract, to divide. You can even be in the kitchen. We're talking about division. And they have a younger one. You were talking about sharing. You can show by sharing oranges. I have 4 oranges. I want to give you and your brother equally. And then you separate it. So if you're doing that, you pick one, your brother picks one, you pick the other one, your brother, how many do you have? So we want to do things that they can picturize, they can have and remember. So that when they're in the real world and they see things and they're about to share, like divide this with this person equally, they can think about the concept. Teaching math is hands-on. You can't just teach math in abstract. You can't just teach this skill by just saying it. They need to practice it. They need to touch. They need to feel it. They need to understand it. So like I said, tip number 1, make it fun and use tangible things. Use things that these kids understand and they recognize to be able to teach those concepts. Remember, I broke math topics into different areas, but I'm saying the first focus is you want to talk about the operations first. You want to talk about knowing how to add, the concept of adding, the concept of subtracting, the concept of multiplication, the concept of division. So now, when you're teaching these concepts, how else can you do it? By using math games. We can use math games to teach operations, basic operations. We can use the card games. For example, when we're shuffling cards and we've, given each person their own cards. Does your child like to play cards? What game does your child like to play? We need to think about all those games that child loves to play. One thing is I always encourage people, don't just bring something new like that. Work around what your child already knows. Work around what your child is already comfortable with. Then, also go into the home. When you're teaching your basic math operations, when you're teaching math, make sure you generalize this instruction all around the home. So imagine we are learning how to add, we're learning how to take away. We're learning how to multiply, we're learning how to divide. Take your child to the kitchen. Are you trying to cook, something using the cooking, a recipe? What do we need? We need measurement. We need to use cups. We need to use spoons. You want your child to be able to understand that measurements on paper that you're trying to teach them is what is going to be practicing in the real world. And this also goes with every other thing centered around math. Are we talking about money? Then we need to practice that by taking your child out with you, purchasing, making real purchases. You can even have a little store set up in your home where you make your child exchange money with you to get change. Remember, you're already teaching subtraction. How much are you giving to me? How much do you get back? How do we calculate that? You want to use those coins, you want to use those paper money to be the bills, to be able to explain to your child. Other than putting it on paper and taking away, let this child see it. I'm going to be talking, but everything I'm going to be saying today is going to be centered around make it real. Let it be a real life scenario. Let it be something that your child will be able to relate with. I keep asking myself all the time that all this math that I learned in school, right? All this, oh my God, math was not a strength for me. Now imagine, I keep like what am I doing with them now? Until, I just realized that, okay, the basic operations is what helps us daily. So if you lose it there, it's going to be difficult to pick up others. So again, I'm emphasizing when you are teaching math concepts to your child, make it real. Number three, be very simple. Be simple when you start. Be simple as you keep going. Be simple, don't push it. Don't make it hard. And how can you make it simple? Think about the strength of your child. Think about what your child is able to achieve. Think about what would not stress your child. Does your child need to learn how to use the calculator to be able to perform those operations? Yes, teach that skill. A lot of parents will tell you, I just want them to know how to do it on their own. And think about you and I, when we go to the store, when we need to even my kids bring homework and I'm trying to, check if the answers are right. What do? I get my phone and I use my calculator. So why can't we just teach the concept? So be very simple for your child to learn and not to be frustrated. So I always encourage parents, if you know your child's ability and you know that using the calculator can help your child to know or to be able to walk through, why not teach it? Anyway, what we're thinking about is the future, right? So you want to teach this calculator, and when you're teaching it again and bringing it back to the real world scenario, would your child be taking the calculator everywhere? They may not have that opportunity. They may even forget. But what is one thing that we all use all the time now? Our phones. So teach the concepts using the phones too. So generalize it. Don't let your child be stuck on, if I don't see the calculator, I won't be able to do it. Let your child be able to know, I can use the calculator and the same calculator is on my phone. So teach that concept like that in a very, very simple way. Then, like I said, when you're teaching math, you teach the concepts. You want them to understand, why is this so? Why do I have to do this? What exactly is addition? How is it different from subtraction? You want to teach the concept behind it. Multiplication, what is the difference between multiplying and adding? You want to let them understand the concept. Understanding the concept for a child with learning disability is what they'll be able to picture to perform other math tasks. If they don't get it, like I always tell and I always emphasize, I don't like using flashcards, or I don't encourage flashcards for math, for our individuals with exceptionalities. Why? Because you're telling them to cram, you're telling them to, have this, but think about this. Cramming is good for somebody that will be able to retain that knowledge, right? And be able to apply it to other things. But if you know that your child will struggle with being able to apply 2 times 1, 2, 2 times 2, 4, after cramming it, 2 other things, then you want to teach the concept behind 2 multiplied by 1, 2 multiplied by 2. You want to put it in arrays. You want your child to see it plain, live, direct. Then you want to carry it again and moving back to the real world scenario. You want to carry that you just explained to explain in the real world scenario. Where does multiplication apply? If I tell you to multiply, how can you use that concept in your home? So that when your child hears that word, when he goes somewhere and they're talking about how many in all, he already knows, oh, that's my addition. How many all together? How many people are here all together? Remember, he has been learning the concept of addition. He's talking about all together. How many people are left? So it's not left with just thinking about, 2 take away 1, 1, 2 take away 0, 2. But he has learned to understand that remaining or left out of is I'm going to subtract. So again, like I said, you need to teach math concepts. Now, when you're teaching math concepts to your child, you want to also use word problems. You don't want to just stay on 1 plus 2, 3 plus 4. You want to be able to use word problems to help them solve. Which is why math games help. Which is why playing games as a family also help. Because you can say, James has 3 cards and you have 2 cards. How many cards do you have altogether? Now he's thinking about James, he's thinking about himself, and he's trying to put it together with the concept, with the way you've taught that concept. And then you'll be able to teach them to be able to underline and to take note of the key words. When I say key words, the key words can center around the numbers, can center around what the question is actually saying. What is the question? What is it begging? What is it asking? So this child will be able to use that skill, to generalize. So if he walks into the store, or if you give an instruction and you tell him, buy 2 packs of sugar, buy 1 box of water, and then when you finish, I always tell you, when you finish, they can count. So at the end of the day, you're going to have 10 items in your cart. How would you do it? Just imagine I'm seeing sugar, they don't look alike, so I don't want to count them. But because your child has been able to use that concept, you've used word problems. So, like I was saying, so they can be able to use that to generalize, to add everything in their cart together. So teaching math concepts being you to be so conscious of what you're doing. Takes you to even do things that you don't normally do. Like I said earlier, using cash instead of using your card. Instead of cooking and just putting your salt, because you're used to cooking like that, you want to use your spoon to measure because you're trying to teach your child how to generally measure as a math concept. Instead of just skip roping while you're exercising in the house, you want your child to be there counting the numbers with you. Instead of just saying, it's morning time, you want to talk about, it's 10 a.m. It's 11 a.m. You want to be specific. Time, I always tell people, why not use digital? Yes, we want to use digital. We want to teach them the digital time. But if they don't understand the concept of numbers, if they don't understand what number is next to this, then it may be difficult to even teach time. So we're starting from our numbers first. We're starting from adding, from them knowing that after 10 is 11. After 11 is 12. So you see where these basic operations fall into. So if I say I'll be home in 20 minutes, my child knows that it's adding from that time that he is presently in to another 20 minutes. Even if he doesn't know yet how to get to 20 minutes, your child will be able to generalize and to know that it's more. Mommy is coming in a later time. Daddy is coming in a later time. And it goes into the days of the week, month of the year. All these are centered around math, are centered around addition, are centered around subtraction. How many more days to your birthday? You want to use concepts like that. You want to use conversations like that to be able to help them count, to be able to move forward. Oh, when was your brother's birthday? How many can you want to count back to that? So let it be something real. So when they grow up, they're able to know my birthday is in 10 days. My birthday is in 5 days. Oh, it's in 2 months. So teaching math skill, math, the concept of math, it's something general for individuals with exceptionalities. You know, I see people, they say, oh, it's easy to know. It's so easy. Oh, they can learn it. Not everyone can learn it, but you know what? They are able to learn it when you teach them. But when you teach in a way that they can understand. You teach in the way that you're teaching the concept, and you're not just teaching them based on, I'm printing out the worksheets for you. You're just going to add this together. What am I adding together? Why do I even have to add it together? I hope you understand what I just said now. Also, when they are teaching math, you need to make sure that you use steps. You don't just jump into the answers. You don't just jump into conclusion. In fact, I always tell people that most times it's not the answers, but how did you arrive at your answer? How did you arrive? Because if you have an understanding, that's part of teaching the concept. If you have an understanding of how I can get to my answer, then you'll be able to have an understanding of how to work around it and how to get to that step. Then, as a parent, one thing I always want to tell parents is that if you know you are not in the educational system, your school system, you want to talk to people that teach all these subjects. You want, because every subject, every topic has its own prerequisite. So imagine you are teaching the concept of percentage to your child that has not learned addition or subtraction, and you want to jump into fraction. All those, they don't align. So you want to talk to somebody, you want to talk to an educator, you want to talk to a math teacher, you want to talk to an English teacher if it is English, that what prerequisite skill does my child need to be able to understand this concept? So first and then, and what is next? So don't think, like I always say, at SPED every day, you're not alone. If you think you're alone, I don't blame parents, because it's not your job. You don't know that. You're not a math teacher. You don't teach math. So naturally, you're not expected to know those. But if you talk to somebody, if you ask your child's teacher, even if your child has not started school yet, is not of school age yet, or you're just trying to do extra, you can even look up information. What's prerequisite skill? But mainly for mathematics, what I always emphasize, you need to teach those addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Before I round up today, I want to quickly touch on this important skill in mathematics that your child needs, and me and you as adults, we do every day. What is that? Financial literacy. You want to let your child understand the concept of money. In fact, I'm going to make a whole video on money skills, because that is huge. Money. We love money. We use money every day. That's a Lego tender. Anywhere in the world, you definitely use money. So you want your child to understand that concept of money, counting money, financial literacy. How can I have my own bank account? How can I save my money? How can I earn money? How can I spend money? What are the opportunities I can get if I have cash? So if your child is able, to go further, maybe higher education, higher institution, college, to learn a trade, to have his own business. Imagine what it needs. What skill does it need? His length is addition, subtraction, and all that. But it needs that money skill. It needs to be able to understand, where do I even put my money? So money skills is huge. So parents, educators, when you're teaching this individual how to be able to go around and use their math skills, let us think more also of financial literacy. That is very huge. That is very important. Learning this will let your child also understand how to spend their money wisely and how to create their own budget. This all comes with math. So it's not just you teaching those concepts, but you are helping your child to have a focus. Because our goal is that we want to teach our child in a way that when we are not there someday, they can live as independent as possible. They can live up to their highest potential. And what are the basic things in life? Creating a budget. Because that's everything we do. Every day you spend, every day you need to get something. And while you're teaching that, you're also teaching the skill of them knowing the power of buying things in bulk. What to buy in bulk, what not to buy in bulk. So all this is centered around our math skills. So generalizing math, it is huge. Learning their math skill is what to let your child know, how many toothpaste do I need in a month? How many bar of soap do I need to buy? So you see, like coming from what we've talked about, personal hygiene, cooking skills, dressing up, all those math skills will let your child will allow your child to be able to do what they're supposed to do. And in a good way, the perfect way, without stress. So think about it today, parents. Would you rather just sit back and feel that, okay, my child is learning by, let me just go on the internet and print this out for him to work on, to keep him busy? Or would you rather just take extra time, spend some family time with your child, play games with your child, just, you just check their knowledge, test it, and think about how these kids learn. They learn when they don't feel it's a learning atmosphere. They learn when they just feel like, it's fun. Look at me blowing my bubbles, and you count the bubbles, and you see these kids running around trying to count bubbles. Now picture that, a parent doing that with their child, and another parent saying, 3 plus 1, count it. What child do you think would want to have fun and do that? Fine, depending on your child, but if I were a child, I want to run around and count bubbles. At least the end goal is, I'm getting the concept, right? So let's do what will help our child understand the concept. And one thing I always emphasize is that when you're teaching all these concepts to your child, always reinforce, encourage them, enforce behavior. Fine, I would even personally, I would say, what do I do? Reinforcement, what happens when they grow up and all that. So through reinforcement, you can also fade reinforcing. You can delay it. You can also move it from one skill to the other. But most importantly, when you want to start teaching your child math skill, maybe you've been doing it before. Maybe you've been doing it right. Maybe you think you've been doing it wrong. Maybe you just want to start. First, think about your child. Where is your child? What does your child know at this point? What is it supposed to know next? Have I missed a prerequisite skill that I need to revisit for my child to learn? All that will help you to understand where to start with. A child that does not understand the concept of addition yet would not be able, it would be unfair for you to start teaching that child how to count money. Because you're just going to realize that you're getting yourself stressed out, you're frustrating your child as well, and you won't see result. So you want to push back a little bit, you want to study your child, you want to do some practices, you want to, check that child out. Where is that child at? And I'm going to give a recap now on what I've been talking about. I talked about math skills. What are the essential math skills? I talked about counting money, financial literacy, addition, subtraction. I talked about being able to tell time or understand the concept of time. I talked about measurements. We can use that in the kitchen. You can use that to weigh yourself. You know, you're going in the doctor's office, they're telling you get on the scale. Using those numbers to teach your child, you know, all those essential math skills. And then I talk about counting, right? Then I talked about the basic math operation. Where do you start with when you're teaching math? Start with addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. And you want to teach addition and subtraction first before you move to multiplication and division. I talked about the tips you can use in teaching this math. Keeping it simple, using the real thing, real world scenario. Not everybody will have a calculator in their purse, but what do we mostly have? Phones. Use calculators on your phones to teach. And I also talked about keeping it simple by using games in the house, fun games, by using real life scenarios in the home, counting, measuring while you're cooking, using recipes to gauge, you know, even taking steps, skip jumping, doing squats, doing exercise. You want them to count along with you. Even while doing aerobics in the home, use that. I talked about using time, learning time, difference between AM, PM, learning the days and months of the year, the weeks. We can use that even towards their birthday. And also talk about making sure that you're teaching the concept and you're not just printing out stuff for them to work on. You're teaching the concept for understanding. And I talked usually about financial literacy. Where is all this math? Where are the math concept taking us to? At the end of the day, our kids are going to be, if they're able to work for someone or for themselves or for you or live on their own, they still need financial literacy. They need budgeting, they need saving, they need to know how to earn money and all that. So it is huge. Mostly I talk about making sure you use steps, you use word problems, you explain, you know, let their siblings model for them. Model for them as parents, let the teachers model. I talk about talking to the educators, teachers in their lives, teachers around you. What concept do you have to teach first? What prerequisite skill do you have to teach first? Using step by step to teach them. Taking step by steps would help, you know, understand the concept better instead of just arriving straight to the answer, so that when they are stuck, they can actually go back to those steps to be able to work around it. Most importantly, I talked about using things that they recognize. They can be eating and you're asking how many slices of bread, how many oranges do you want, how many bananas did you eat? Can you count the bananas mommy just bought? You know, you want to teach things that they'll be able to recognize, they know. Oh, count it, like, oh, my bubbles, I need to just blow. I think I need to blow some more bubbles before I leave. So, who doesn't like bubbles? And think about it. I'm not just blowing the bubbles to learn math, but I'm working on some other skills. 5 motor skills. I'm working on different skills where I'm doing that. So, think about all those ways that you can help your child, not just learning the concept of math as well, but also learning other skills as it is. So again, I want to say thank you so much for watching me today at SPED Everyday. It's so awesome. And I can tell you that I'm going to be bringing to you live very soon. Simply money skills, counting money. That's huge. I'm going to be bringing that to you soon. And I hope to see you next week, guys. It's been wonderful to be with you. Like I always say, Friday is my best day of the week. If you're watching SPED Everyday for the first time today, my name is Bola Tito Fatoki. One thing we do here is that we support our individuals with exceptionalities. So if you have experiences, if you have ideas, if you have comments, do not hesitate to share. And do not also hesitate to subscribe to this YouTube channel and share this video. You never know who needs it. Information is key in life to be able to help our individuals with exceptionalities. No one can do it alone. It's a huge community. So embrace this community, Walk with us. Let's share knowledge together. And I hope to see you again. Catch you watching my video next week. Again, thank you so much to all my old subscribers. You guys are just so wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week. Love you and bye.